Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today, you're going to want to pay particular attention to this idea, especially if you're burned out. So, are you burned out? Are you stressed out? Are you feeling overwhelmed, exhausted on the so-called struggle bus? Do you feel like life is just weighing you down and it's too much? You've got too much on your plate. You're juggling too many plates and you're carrying around a heavy burden. Do you feel that way? If you do, then I really want to invite you to pay attention today. Definitely to tune in, because what we're talking about here in the context of the text of A Course in Miracles is we're talking about why we're burned out, really, why we're burned out, why we're stressed, exhausted, and overwhelmed, the real reason why. Deeper than the fact that you simply double book yourself every day. It's deeper than that. Why do you double book yourself every day? Why do you feel that you have to juggle 9 different plates at a time? And you would be a better person if you added a 10th and an 11th. We all do this in one form or another. We all do this. So what does this have to do with the Course in Miracles? Well, as it turns out here in the section that we're talking about today, everything, absolutely everything. Remember, this course is helping us clarify our perception. In so doing, we undo the very foundations of the ego itself. And we recognize that it never did have a foothold at all. We just made it solid. Specifically, if you're following along, we're in chapter 3, section 6 of the text, and today we're looking at paragraphs 4 and 5. The section is entitled Judgment and the Authority Problem. We're going to look at both of those ideas here today. We're burned out. We feel exhausted and overwhelmed in this world because we're trying to be the author of reality. We're trying to be the author of reality. We're trying to order our lives and everyone else's lives to our own individual exacting specifications. We're trying to, as we put it, improve ourselves. We're trying to transform ourselves. We're invited and encouraged, no matter where you live in the world, we're all invited and encouraged, when you really think about it, to be something and somebody that we're not. We're invited to never be content with who and what we are, because it's not enough. We need to get more money. We need to have more sex, and when we're involved in it, it needs to be somehow hotter, possibly last longer and be more orgasmic. We need to drink better wine. We need to drive a better car. We need to have a new shiny toy to play with. The underlying message is deep dissatisfaction. We're invited to be deeply dissatisfied. And so here we find ourselves. We're trying to be the author of reality. We are not. We are not the author of reality. God is the author of reality. This idea, at first, may seem very threatening, and the 100th time you hear it, it still may seem very threatening. Not a problem at all. What's threatened is the ego. Who you really are, if you allow it to be just as it is, couldn't possibly be threatened by this idea. In fact, it's relaxing. It's deeply soothing and calming to know that you don't have to be the author of your reality. You can't be, so you don't have to try. We're inviting you to chill out. Really, all of spirituality is a process of surrender, isn't it? No matter what tradition you practice, or if you don't practice any traditions, when you launch back into one, which you will at some point, even if it's not in this lifetime, I mean, you're clearly interested in it because there's a lot of other content on YouTube that you could be watching right now. Yet here you are. Very cool, very cool. We discover that it's a tremendous relief when we acknowledge and accept that we don't have to do it all ourselves. In fact, we can't, because everything that we try to do is from a limited viewpoint. It's from the ego clinging part of the mind that's limited, severely limited. And when we're in this frame of mind and we try to author things, we try to change things around and switch things around, we might be satisfied for a little while. But inevitably, that deep discontent is going to come back up. So when looked at in this way, all burnout is due to our desire to author reality. We cannot. Accepting this brings tremendous relief. And yes, even though it may seem unlikely at this point, and maybe it will to you right now, it brings peace, peace of mind, deep peace. All of spiritual practice is a process of surrendering to the guidance of your inner teacher. It is a process, a continual process of learning to relax and trust that your inner teacher knows best, because he does. It does know best in every situation. Relax and trust. You don't have to juggle plates. You really don't. You don't have to run around frantically like people do. I mean, maybe you're doing that right now. Maybe this is something that you habitually do, is run around high-stressed and frantic, addicted to that, using it as a badge of honor, because our society, sickly, really, rewards high stress, or it seems to. How is that possibly a badge of honor? I mean, really, really. So it may be that you know people, or that you yourself are one of these folks that's highly stressed out in life. And there are a lot of different reasons why that could be. So if that's where you find yourself, okay, well, we're all, whether you're stressed out or not, we're all invited to do exactly the same thing in spiritual practice. And that is to give our entire experience over to the guidance of our inner teacher. Learn to relax and trust in our inner teacher's guidance. And while we're at it, Forgive the Son of God, truly. And forgive all of those plates that you're juggling as well. Forgive stress, forgive the ego, space, time, the world itself. All of it, equally unreal. Try it for a while and see if you don't begin to feel a greater sense of peace. But really try it. Only you will know if you're really trying it, by the way. Yeah, that's the way it is for all of us. So when we're trying to be the author of reality, there's so many things that we don't accept about ourselves, and we want to bury those. You may find, for example, that you're not real good with details, or that you don't have a great sense of time and you're always late to everything, or you're a procrastinator and you wait. If you have a 10 o'clock appointment, then you wait until 10 o'clock to get ready, type thing. And of course, you're late. So, maybe you're in that boat, or any number of other ways that that shows up in the world. But what we refuse to accept and acknowledge on the path, we bury. True forgiveness is about allowing that to come up. We've got to allow it to come up. Otherwise, how can we truly forgive it? Of course, the quick answer is, well, we can't if we're burying everything, and we've buried quite a lot. It's going to come up on the path. How it comes up is in the form of discomfort. It could be a fit of rage, or it could be just a nagging sensation that you're ill at ease. It could be sadness, grief, something traumatic, depression. Right? It could be that you're just feeling boxed in and it's giving you a headache. I mean, it could show up in the world in many different ways. So what we're burying, this thought about ourselves, isn't in itself dangerous, but we make it so when we shelf it away. We make a monster out of it, so to speak. We make a thing out of it, an opponent even. And we're scared. So what's going on when you feel any sort of discomfort in life? Anything. And the list of feelings that I just mentioned is by no means exhaustive. It can take any number of different forms. But when you feel that, this is an opportunity for forgiveness. It is an opportunity, a gift, because it is an opportunity to forgive whatever appears on the screen, whether it's another person or whether it's yourself or a circumstance, a situation. Could be a group of people, right? All of your managers at work, the government, whatever, right? Whatever. It's an opportunity to forgive truly and release. Forgive and release. Forgive and release. Forgive and release. Rinse, repeat. That's what we do. The results of truly doing this are powerful. They're powerful indeed. So here in paragraph 5, Jesus tells us something that's very powerful. The strain of constant judgment is virtually intolerable. Ooh. The strain of constant judgment is virtually intolerable. Our juggling plates way of being in the world, assessing one thing as worthy and another thing as unworthy, good, bad, ugly. I need this, I don't need that, this sucks. That's beautiful. And then 5 minutes later, what sucked before is gorgeous. And what was beautiful now sucks. And we vacillate and alternate between them, constantly judging. It's virtually intolerable. No wonder we're stressed. We're always judging. And if you feel that you don't, I invite you to go deeper and think about all of the ways that we do. We all do it. That's why we're here practicing this course and learning this course, isn't it? It's because we need it. So here it is, a profound gift, a pure non-dual spiritual tradition that when applied, when practically applied and learned, will help save you time. How much time? A lot. I don't know exactly, but your inner teacher does. A lot of time. So it's strange, indeed, the predicament that we find ourselves in the world. The judgment that's so bad for us is so deeply cherished. We cherish this judgment. A few minutes ago, we talked about what might be a typical situation in a lot of places in the world where people are just stressed out, constantly assessing, constantly judging. It's valued. We should want more. That's what our conditioning tells us, schools, our parents, society. I mean, most people's parents, when you really think about it, don't really want their kids deep down to be happy. They want them to be comfortable. They want them to be materially comfortable with a good job and a nice spouse, a car that runs. I mean, nothing against that, of course. But they really don't want necessarily their kids to be happy, truly happy. They're interested in making sure they don't materially suffer. And maybe your parents deeply, truly want you to be happy. That's cool. And it's rare, isn't it? So it's pretty clear, isn't it, that this requires some honest assessment on our part. We've really got to look at our lives honestly on the spiritual path. The reward of doing that is you get to wake up. There might be some momentary discomfort, of course, because we've buried all of our crap. We've buried it, and now here it is coming up piece by piece, or maybe chunk by chunk, maybe big chunks. Depends on the situation, doesn't it? So here it is coming up for release. So I invite you to notice and ask your inner teacher for guidance, forgive and release. Notice, ask your inner teacher for guidance, forgive and release. Rinse, repeat, really. And do this for a period of time and see what happens. Questions you might want to consider are, do I feel more peaceful? Am I more forgiving? Do I fly off the handle as quickly as I used to? Do I get angry as quickly as I used to? Doesn't mean you won't, but do you get angry as quickly? And how does your behavior differ in these circumstances? Perhaps you'll find that your forgiveness, your practice, has opened up a gap between stimulus and response, between the event that you used to react to immediately and that reaction, right? If you used to react to somebody or something immediately, maybe there's a window that opens up, a gap in time, so to speak. If someone that you know pisses you off and you react in a hostile manner immediately, after 6 months or a year or 20 years or 40 years, see where I'm going, of true forgiveness practice, just begin to notice, does this person's activity bother you in the same way? It might bother you, but do you react the way that you used to? Or have you opened up a gap where you can make a different decision and handle the situation differently? There are many hands-on and practical ways that we can tell that we're learning. That's one of them. All right. So, as always, I really want to invite you to notice when you're stressed out. Notice when you are ill at ease in any way, and just recognize that that's an opportunity for forgiveness. It's coming up so that you can truly forgive. Perhaps it's coming up for you right now. And if it's not, then 15 minutes from now, you never know, something could happen, for sure. The world is like that. So the opportunities continue to present themselves, and let's all become aware of them so that we can forgive and take advantage of the opportunity on a platter that presents itself for us to awaken. Yeah. Yes, just yes. The subscription button is right here. I'd love to have you join me. Thank you to all of you who have recently tuned in and subscribed. And comments and questions are always more than welcome here. And there'll be a link to my Patreon page here in the comments to this video. In a couple of weeks, on the 11th of February, I'm going to begin a live stream with an opportunity for live Q&A, so you can see some of the details over there. It's an opportunity for us to go a little bit deeper with these discussions. These videos, of course, are going to continue 15, 20 minutes, and we need to check in, because the 1,000th time we hear a message could be the time that we're inspired to put it into practice. And if that's happened for you today, excellent. I appreciate your practice. Thanks so much. Talk to you soon.